Greetings and welcome to this Danish English special report, a business edition on Novo Nordisk saga and copyright crisis. From the skyrocketing demand for its groundbreaking weight loss and diabetes medications to the widespread use of cheaper copycat drugs. In the US, Novo Nordisk has been grappling with legal, financial, and operational challenges on a global scale. On top of that, the company is undergoing an unprecedented leadership shakeup. Nearly the entire board is stepping down, including the chairman and vice chairman, replaced by the former CEO and a chair of the Owner Foundation, in a move that has sparked debate over corporate governance. Add to this a massive global layoff of 9,000 employees and a stock value drop of over 60%, and you have a perfect storm affecting investors, employees, and the wider pharmaceutical market. Novo Nordisk in turmoil, legal battles, boardroom bloodshed, and governance storm. The world's most valuable pharmaceutical company is facing one of the most turbulent periods in modern corporate history. Novo Nordisk, the Danish drug maker behind the blockbuster weight loss medications. Wegovy and Ozempic is simultaneously fighting copycats in the United States and undergoing a boardroom shakeup at home so dramatic. It has been described as a public leadership massacre. Part 1. The Copycat Wars in the US. In the United States, Novo Nordisk has launched an aggressive legal campaign to protect its GLP-1 based drugs, filing 132 lawsuits against telehealth companies and compounding pharmacies selling unauthorized copies of Wegovy and Ozempic. The company argues that these unregulated compounded versions are unsafe, untested, and manufactured without proper oversight, posing potential health risks to patients. We are doing everything possible to protect patients from the dangers of copycats, Novo Nordisk said in a statement to Danish broadcaster DR. That includes information campaigns, close cooperation with authorities, and legal action. From shortages to a shadow market. The copycat surge began during a period of global shortages when Wegovy's popularity far outstripped Novo's production capacity. Both Wegovy and Ozempic were temporarily placed on the FDA's drug shortage list, allowing compound pharmacies to legally produce equivalents. This exception, intended as a short-term fix, created a thriving parallel market that outlived the shortage itself. Even after Novo stabilized supply and the FDA delisted Wegovy, many compounders continued selling versions illegally, often using raw semaglutide from Chinese suppliers. Today, well over 1 million Americans use compounded GLP-1 products, according to advocacy groups. Among them is Amanda Bonello, who lost 20 kilograms using a compounded version and later founded the GLP-1 Collective, a non-profit lobbying for affordable and safe access. When 40% of Americans live with obesity, we need solutions people can afford, Bonello said. Whether it's compounding, insurance coverage, or lower prices, it doesn't matter as long as it's safe. Bonello warns that if Novo's lawsuit succeeded in cutting off access, desperate patients might turn to gray market sources, buying raw powder online, and mixing injections themselves. It's not safe. None of it is safe or legal, she said. Part 2. A corporate earthquake in Denmark. While battling copycats abroad, Novo Nordisk faces a full-blown leadership crisis at home. On October 21st, the company announced an extraordinary general meeting for November 14, where nearly its entire board of directors will be replaced, including Chairman Heile Lund and Vice Chairman Henrik Poulsen. The shakeup follows months of tension between Novo Nordisk's current board and its controlling shareholder, the Novo Nordisk Foundation. over how the board should be structured in the future. A public leadership massacre. DR's economic correspondent Kasper Schröder described the move in stark terms. Lars Rebien Sørensen had thrown a hand grenade into Novo Nordisk boardroom, Schröder said. The sitting board has been blown away so that, as the owner, he can take the chairman's seat himself. Together with the firing of CEO Lars Rebien Sørensen earlier this year, this is a public leadership massacre without precedent in modern Danish corporate history. Outgoing chairman Helge Lund confirmed that fundamental disagreements with the foundation led to the board's resignation. The board proposed renewal focus on adding selected competencies while maintaining continuity, he said. The foundation wanted a far more extensive reconstructuring. Given the foundation's control of most voting shares, the board concluded it was in the company's best interest to hold an extraordinary meeting and create clarity around its future leadership. Part 3. The return of Lars Rebien Sørensen. At the center of the turmoil stands Lars Rebien Sørensen, the 71-year-old former CEO of Novo Nordisk from 2000 to 2016, and current chairman of the Nordisk Foundation. He is now poised to become chairman of Novo Nordisk itself, effectively uniting leadership of the company and its controlling shareholder. A move critics say it blurs the line of proper corporate governance. At an online press conference, Sørensen criticized the company's management for the recent mass layoffs. It was a failure that the Novo Nordisk had to cut 9,000 jobs globally in September, he said. Management must look at itself and ask whether something could have been done differently. He added that he only intends to serve as a chairman temporarily for 2 to 3 years while helping the company regain stability and direction. The foundation has asked me to take this role, he said. I am aware my age can be considered an issue, but I bring substantial experience from running a pharmaceutical business. Sørensen will remain chairman of the Novo Nordisk Foundation, but step down from his role as chairman of Novo Holdings, the foundation's investment arm, to avoid conflicts of interest. Part 4. Governance concerns and historical context. Not everyone is impressed by Sørensen's comeback. Flemming Poulfeldt, who is a professor emeritus of corporate governance at Copenhagen Business School, described the move as poor governance practice. It's strange, he said. Good corporate governance guidelines clearly say that a former CEO should not become chairman of the same company. And that's precisely what we're seeing now. Poulfeldt emphasized that Novo Nordisk has many other capable leaders who understand the industry. It's not necessarily a problem, but it risks becoming too insular, and that's precisely why those governance recommendations exist. However, Hannah Sindbæk, author of The Righteous Ones, De Renfærdige, a book on Novo Nordisk history, noted that such transitions are very common in the company's culture. Novo Nordisk has always done this, she explained. When one generation steps down, another from within takes over. They rarely bring in outsiders. Sindbæk pointed out that Mads Øvlesen, who served as CEO from 1981 to 2000, also became a chairman after stepping down, just as Sørensen is now doing. Rebien is definitely a steady hand on the wheel, she added. Even though it's an art construction, this is about restoring calm and setting a clear course after months of turmoil. Part 5. Crisis upon crisis. Novo Nordisk leadership overhaul comes amid serious business challenges. The company's market value has plunged by more than 60% since mid-2024. It has lowered sales and profit forecasts multiple times this year. CEO Lars Rebien Sørensen was fired in the summer, replaced by veteran executive Mike Doster. Doster's first major move was announcing the global layoff of 9,000 employees, roughly 10% of Novo's workforce. Sørensen, speaking to reporters, said management had been too slow to recognize fundamental market changes. Part 6. The Battle for Control. The Novo Nordisk Foundation, which owns around 28% of the company's share but controls the vast majority of its voting power, insists that the shake-up is necessary to bring fresh eyes and new competencies to the board and support CEO Mike Doster's transformation strategy. However, governance experts and market observers are uneasy about the foundation's tightening grip. When the controlling shareholder fires the entire board and installs itself at the head, it inevitably raises questions about governance and independence, said Schröder. For some, it's a necessary reset. For others, it's a warning sign of power concentration within one of Europe's most influential companies. Epilogue: a reckoning for Denmark's crown jewel. Novo Nordisk, once the unshakable pride of Danish industry, now stands at a crossroads. Its legal wars in the US, its mass layoffs, its plunging stocks, and its unprecedented boardroom purge have exposed deep tensions. At the heart of its success story, the company remains immensely profitable, expecting over 100 billion Danish krona in earnings this year. But confidence, both internal and external, has been badly shaken. As Lars Rebien Sørensen returns to steady the ship, one question looms over the entire saga. Can Denmark's most powerful company recover from a year of crisis, conflict, and consolidation, or has the very structure that made it great now become its greatest risk? This concludes our special business edition on Novo Nordisk, a tale of ambition, controversy, and the significant ramifications of the global pharmaceutical industry. We've seen how copycat drugs in the US challenged the company's growth, how leadership conflicts led to an extraordinary boardroom shakeup, and how mass layoffs have impacted employees worldwide. For anyone interested in understanding the complex dynamics of international business, corporate governance, and future of life-changing medical innovations, the present is a story you cannot afford to miss. To stay updated on this saga, get the latest analysis, and gain access to in-depth business reporting from Denmark and around the globe, subscribe to Danish-InfoNews TV today. Your insider look at the stories shaping business world starts here.